Hello, welcome to my cake kitchen. I am Gladys, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate cake decorating easily. Don't worry about this stuff out here because I'm still trying to decide what kind of creature I am for Christmas. This would be a reindeer nose, but if I had that on my nose, I'd have a line going up my face. It would be awkward. So just don't look at it, but I can see you. I can see. That aside, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Christmas. Actually, Christmas is coming. And as you can see, I'm dressed for Christmas. What are we doing here? Because being here is not about what I'm wearing for Christmas, is it? We are making a blondie. Actually, we're making two blondies. We're making mince pie blondie and white chocolate and raspberry, as in raspberry blondie. Okay, now here is here's a PSA to say, even as a baker who's baked for almost 10 years, I have struggled with making blondies, but I managed to find a hack for a blondie recipe that works. And these mince pie blondies are amazing. So as always, we're going to go through the entire process. Hopefully we have enough time to see the results, and then we'll see. You get to see me eat some blondie or cake, because over here we test what we eat. But I can see in the chat there are Tabitha and there is Dolly, two of my favorite people. Hello there, Dolly. Dolly, I can see you. Okay, I can see you. I think Dolly might be asking, Auntie Gladys, where is my summary at? Dolly, don't ask me, okay? It's been a bit busy, but it's like when you have some job to do and then you haven't done it, and then you see your boss in town and you are like, okay, Dolly, that's me right here. So, hi, Dolly. I hope you are well. Great to have you, and I will make an effort, okay? You see, my life is busy, my dear. If I haven't even kept my commitment to the channel. Remember the time when I said I'd be here 3 days a week? Don't come ask me, okay? Okay. Honey, thanks for your patience. I'll make an effort, okay? Probably, okay, we'll get to that part. But right now, let's go talk blondies, okay? Before we get to the blondie, I have a selection of the recipe ingredients here, which I will bring to the shop. The good thing about this blondie recipe is that it is one single base. You don't have to do anything, and then you change the fillings around. So for instance, for the mince pie blondie, it's the same base for the blondie. You don't do anything at all, and then you fill it up with the mince pies into the middle. It's dotted around, makes a lovely cut and great to eat. Then the next one will be white chocolate and raspberry. The raspberry is just jam. It's not going to cook down raspberries or anything at all. But yeah, blondies are like, is it the sibling or the cousins to that one? What is it called? Brownies. So that one. I know. Tabitha, I keep making promises I can't keep. It's because I love you guys, and here is an open statement to say I am a people pleaser, okay? I'm a people pleaser. I get super excited and I overpromise and I underdeliver, okay? Yeah, Tabitha, my brain is gone fuzzy. I don't know. I've spent the morning editing. It's been a very dull morning. I tell you what my morning has been like. It's been baking. Not baking. It's been finishing off a cake that a client needed for a Christmas do. And a few other things. And then there was like editing because I needed to get the vlog. Remember the vlog that I promised? Yes, I had to get much of that sorted. So it's been a slow burn and mind-numbing and boring. But it means I have to try and switch back up and go, hey, here I am. All of you in the chat, there is Kian. Kian, I'm making two blondies from one blondie base. Okay, it's one blondie base, two different blondies. We're making mince pie blondie, and we're making a raspberry and white chocolate blondie. And that said, if you didn't know what mince pies are, they are these things. Actually, I'll tell you a fun fact about me and mince pies. I don't like the mince in the pies. The only time I like mince pie is when they're in the blondie. Then I can eat it because it's crushed. But when when Christmas comes, I look forward to mince pies. And I don't like any mince pies. I'm very, very particular with the mince pie I like. And I like the Lidl brand. There's just something about it that I love. Not the pies themselves, the filling in the pies, but the crust, the pastry that makes the mince pie. I love the pastry. So homemade and all the other ones, I don't like any, even including M&S ones. I don't like them, but I like these ones from Lidl. And what I do now, I know some of you on these internet streets are going to probably get and shoot me out of here, but I'm going to tell you, I don't like the mince in the filling, and the filling of the mince in the pies. So normally I'll take the lid off, scoop the pie out, throw it away, and then scoop as many as pastries that I can have, warm them up and throw some custard on it, or eat them like that. Normally I like to eat them just like that, warm it up slightly in the microwave, and there's just something about the texture of them and the flavor that I really, really love, and I love it with a cup of tea. So I am typically a person who will buy mince pies. Like after Christmas, I'll stuff them up and keep them for later when Christmas is over, because you don't get the Christmas themed mince pies when they are like seasonal, if you like. So that's how I like my mince pies. But when I have them in a brownie with everything happening, oh, amazing. Okay, that is a bit about me and mince pies. Share your mince pie stories in the chat, and I will catch up with you. And whilst we're at it, all of you in the chat, do like the video, so that we can know we're all having fun here. Christmas prep. What are you doing for Christmas? I mean, I am trying my hardest to represent Christmas and I'm failing at it. So let's just ignore that. Thanks, Kian. Thanks, Kian. Thanks for being here. And thanks for, you know what? Some people call it turban. I think turban is kind of like related to a particular cultural theme or something. I'm Ghanaian. We call it a scarf, a head scarf. You tie it around your head and that's it. I don't know what the difference are. I don't purport to know, but that's just a head scarf. And actually there is no, I should just clarify, there is no like religious or any significant meaning to wearing this head scarf. It's just because it's convenient. I like consistency, routine. So for the channel, I just want to be able to present myself in a very easy way that takes away having to kind of style my hair and do different stuff. But you've seen me here occasionally sort of change my hair up, but I just want to maintain consistency. And this scarf out here is hiding a lot of sins underneath. So that is just by the way. But we're not talking about my hair here. We're doing that. So yeah, Tapita. Right, Tabitha is saying something in the, let's see, there is a chat happening and I'm missing out. Okay, Kian was asking what I'm doing. We're making blondies. I've answered that. Tabitha, hell, we can wait until Christmas 2020. I don't think you're going to have to wait that long. I tell you what is probably stalled it. Logistics. We're talking jollof rice, by the way. Whilst we're at it, let me go and get the butter, and then we'll talk through the ingredients, and then I'll come back and then we'll talk about what's happening in the chat. Bear with me, 2 ticks. So there we have it. Okay, if you are asking me a question in the chat, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll make an effort. So let's talk about the ingredients for these blondies. I will make sure to update them as soon as the live is done. I will update them in the community post, just in case you're curious to know. And when I go back to updating the when I go back to updating the description box, I will make sure all that information is there for you to see. In the meantime, right now, okay, here are a few tricks I have found. If you don't know what a blondie is, I like to think of it as the sibling, like the forgotten sibling of a brownie, okay? Brownies are very straightforward. They are dark and blondies are white. Well, I don't know. I don't know the difference. Black and white. Not exactly white, but you know what I mean. Brownie is made with cocoa bars and chocolate, brown chocolate. And blondies are made of the equivalent white chocolate. They are not the same thing, if you like. White chocolate has nothing cocoa in it except for the cocoa fat base, but it's full of sugar. We're not getting into the science of it. The bottom lines are that you have the texture of a blondie. It's very, very unique. But I have come to find, even in the research for a particular recipe, is that they're very, very adaptable and can be adapted to such wide-ranging objectives, and thus tend to sort of lend to each individual preferences. So the ones I've tried in the past have used a different method, like the cakey method, and I haven't had great results. I wouldn't say I've tried it a lot, but I even once upon a time bought a brownie recipe, but I've seemed to have lost it. So this one was one that I found on the internet, and with my knowledge of the recipe I bought, which is going back 2 years ago, that I had great results with, I sort of lent that intention that I had to this one that I found on the internet and adapted it, and it seemed like it worked perfectly. Now, this is the second time I'm making that recipe, and I have scaled it slightly. So sort of this has the benchmark of me trying things randomly and hoping it works. But at least I know what I'm doing. So hopefully we can get some great results. So talking about the texture and the outcomes for blondie recipes, some people like their blondies a little bit cakey. Some people like it fudgy. What's the difference between cakey? You can have it very lightly textured with a very risen blondie, or you can have it densely packed and fudgy. Either one is not better than the other. It's all down to preference. I think because of the overwhelming amount of sugar, because the amount of sugar that is in a blondie recipe is incredibly high. Talking about white chocolate, and don't let the word chocolate in white chocolate fool you. It's just a lot of sugar with some sort of cocoa or a fat base in there. It has nothing to do with real cocoa. Okay, but that said, the amount of sugar in the white chocolate that melts to a very sweet mouthfeel, and then having the amount of sugar to guarantee some sort of chewy texture in your blondie means that the outcome of blondie is very, very sweet. I mean, it's a dessert, so I'm not complaining. I'm just putting that forward to say, for someone like me who is always finding reason to shift away from the overwhelming sweetness, blondies are the ones that I haven't exactly found a great solution for. But you know what? As a baker, you pick your battles. You win some and you lose some. That said, I find that you can make small adaptations to kind of level out the amount of sugar so that you're not just like gobbling sugar. Because for me, it's not even a health thing. It's just a preference thing that I find sugar, too much sugar, overwhelming. I don't drink my tea with sugar in it because I tend to balance it. If you see me eating or tasting a cake on a video or something, the amount of sugar that is hitting my mouth, it's kind of like I have to take one for the team, okay? But I like a good dessert maybe occasionally, and then I move on. My life is not dessert. It's funny that with all that said, I'm a baker. Hello, okay? That said, I guess the sort of advantage and privilege I have is that I can choose what I bake and what I like and what I don't like, which is what lends to the outcome of my bakes and intention towards customers a lot. That said, you can make small adaptations to kind of level out the level of sugar in a brownie. Not too much to change anything, but perhaps good enough to give you a very complex, balanced flavor that even whilst the brownie remains so sweet, you are getting quality amount of sweetness in your mouth. So for instance, a good way to start with your brownie is to hit it with brown butter. Brown butter, if you don't know what it is, it's just butter that is melted down to break, sort of burn out some of the protein solids in it, and it kind of brings you a very nice, flavorful, earthy, caramel-like flavor to your brownie. And it kind of, with that flavor and the fat coming into your brownie, it kind of adds a level of complexity to the brownie, in that it doesn't take away the fact that it is sweet, but having something that is better and enhances that sweetness is a good thing, I guess. So I am going to be starting with brown butter to start with. Another thing I have also done, some brownie recipes call for white sugar completely, some go for dark brown sugar, some go for in between. I have gone for brown sugar, as in light brown sugar and caster sugar, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to kill the taste of the brownie, which is too sweet. I don't want to. If anything, I just want to bring an enhancement to it to kind of level out the taste and also give me a great mouthfeel. So what I've done is I've gone for the quantity of sugar that I have here, I've gone for parts of white granulated sugar. You can go for caster sugar if you want. And then I've also gone for parts of light brown sugar. Let me just dig into it so you can see. I think the difference between dark brown sugar and, as in dark brown and light brown, is the amount of molasses contained in the sugar. I mean, when we think about dark brown sugar, in the past, the original form would have been an unrefined type of sugar, which is great. But in modern times, the commercial production of brown sugar means that it is just refined sugar that has molasses mixed into it. So it's essentially sugar. But what molasses does is that it brings you some flavor, complexity, and also enhances moisture quality in your cakes, and also adds a little bit of like texture to it. So if I went for dark brown sugar here, I just felt like I haven't had time to actually experiment with this recipe enough with all the changes. I've almost stuck with a safe option. But what I'm also intending to do is that with my brown butter here, a bit of light brown sugar and some sugar should bring me some sort of balance, because you want to get a nice chew to your blondie. Especially for this occasion, I am going for something that is not super dense, but I don't want a cakey brownie too. So I want a brownie where you'll see what I mean. I think I posted a photo of what I tried before on the community post, and you will see, if you look at the shot of the brownie, the top crust kind of going down sort of less than a millimeter or two gives you a very dry, crunchy crust. And then the middle is like dead dense, and then it goes all the way down to a base that is sort of it's not soggy, but also has like some texture to it, if you like. So I want complexity in the texture, if you like. But like I said, I haven't experimented with this recipe enough to tell you the outcomes of the various adaptive ingredients. So let's go with what we have today, and then we'll come back and try with different sugar and different sorts of stuff like that. But on a safe note, light brown sugar should enhance the flavor without sort of overpowering the brownie. The blondie, whilst white sugar also helps to maintain crunch and crust to the blondie. That's at least the basic intention for using that. With this blondie, I have increased the quantity of eggs here with some egg yolks. Egg yolks do tend to sort of enhance the fat in baking, if you like. It also brings extra moisture, kind of brings depth to it, and also helps with emulsifying when you're mixing the batter together. The thing with brownie is that because we're dealing with very, very delicate or tricky white chocolate doesn't bind very well. It breaks easily when you mix it with what do you call it, butter here, you tend to see it break, the emulsion breaks, and then you have the oil sit on the top and then the chocolate pieces sitting on the bottom. It is very, very tricky to get a nice, consistent, solid consistency that holds together through the process. So because of that, increasing the eggs here will help to keep the bind and the emulsion together. You will see how that comes together when I get to making it. And another thing I have done, which is quite, I don't know if it's usual or unusual. When I tried the recipe, it doesn't call for corn syrup, but I have gone for corn syrup here. And the corn syrup also brings chewy texture to the cake, helps it retain, I say cake, why am I talking about cake? Blondie, helps to retain moisture, and also brings a level of helping the emulsion hold together, you know. So those are the basics of the ingredients I have chosen. For the mince pies, why mince pies? It's because mince pies are in season, and you can find different ways to blend them into your different bakes. That is if you don't make them by hand. And like I've said, I don't like mince pies very much, especially with the filling. So I find a way to kind of incorporate them because they are very seasonal, and I like the pastry. So bringing that to a blondie brings me complexity in flavor, texture, because you have the mince pie that are baked already, so they are crusty and sort of dry, but then the mince sort of brings a very soft, chewy texture to your brownies. So when you bake it through, the top is all crusty and nice, and then you bite into it, and then you have all these flavors that are coming together. It's amazing. I think the next thing is that I just wanted to create a variation of the brownie, because the brownie batter is just one base. You don't do anything, you don't adapt it, so you can do almost anything you want with that. And I'm baking them in these small trays. These trays have become such a lifesaver for me. In the vlog style video that I'm editing, you will see what I mean, because I bought them from my local Lidl, and I wanted to use them for bakes for a church event, and they've saved me quite a lot. So yeah, they are so easy to use, and if you line them, you can bake and take them out, and you can decorate them. Takes away the faff and the trouble of sorting out a whole tin and the inconveniences that comes with that. So that said, let's look in the chat quickly, see what you guys are saying over there, and then we can just move on. But that said, I'm going to preheat my oven to yeah, is it 100, and we're baking at 170 degrees C. Perhaps we can keep it at 160, but you know what? I'll keep it at 160 so that it bakes slow, and then we don't have the crusts cooking. But that said, I have my oven thermometer in there. Last time we tried it, we realized that the oven temperature was way short of what the thermometer was telling us. So let's just say this will be baking at 160 degrees C. However, I will have to confirm that using the oven thermometer. Let's see what's happening in the chat. I'm being nosy, okay? If I'm quiet, it's because I'm just trying to catch up on the chat and what I'm missing, right? Tabitha, you don't have to wait till 2026. I told you the jollof is a logistics issue, because first of all, the way to cook jollof, I am wondering if I can do it in a way where I can use my countertop here. But I'm also thinking, can I do it so you can see into the pan, as in what I'm cooking? I don't know. It's a logistics issue. So when I because part of thinking about the logistics is also to bring you value, and that is really important. So don't you worry. You don't have to wait forever, but just hang in there. Amy is in the chat with us. Amy, hello and welcome to the vlog. Welcome to the vlog. Who is talking about the vlog? Well, welcome to the chat. We're making a blondie, and we're also trying to catch up with you guys, okay? Kian, you're cooking jollof rice. Hello. I think, Kian, you need to hook up with Tabitha over here. Tabitha, who is feeling jealous over here? I missed that part. Do you want to bring me up to speed about that? We're making a blondie. Well, Tabitha is in the chat moderating. So Tabitha, thank you. You're keeping everybody engaged and happy over there. But I want to see if I've missed something. There are pies. I've heard of these pies, but they don't sound good to me because other places call ground mint. You know what? I used to think that Tabitha, being a Ghanaian, mince pies are not traditional to me at all. So when I came to England, when they used to say mince pies, I actually used to think they were pies that were filled with proper mince, as in minced beef. And the idea of it just used to kind of make me feel like, who puts minced beef? Now I sound a little bit dense, don't I? Yeah, I was like, who puts minced beef in sweet things like that? Well, let's just say I later found out I was wrong, okay? But yes, they are not everybody's favorite, I found. People like them, people hate them. It's neither here nor there, okay? And Maham is here. Kian, maybe you should talk Tabitha through making jollof rice. But you better bring the jollof correct, okay? Because we are not going to accept any half-assed jollof out here. Kian, that's a warning to you. All right? I'm just joking with you. Well, yeah, Maham was checking. Oh, yes, Tabitha. Tabitha, come update us about the strawberry cupcakes for the hubby. Kian, well, you cooking jollof rice, I'm sure you can source an African from the crowd. I'm Ghanaian, actually. So, the cupcakes, so far, they were way too stuffed from the birthday dinner. Ended up just doing, okay. You know what? Everybody seems to eat quite a lot during the... Like, you won't believe 2 days ago, I was stood in this kitchen still eating mince pies and cupcakes at 2 a.m. So, the eating of stuff in the... yeah, let's just all eat and then go on a detox in January. Who is with me on this one? Okay? Seems like Maham and oh, okay, Lady Lakely is back. You know what? I'm just gonna leave the chat alone over there. All of you keep talking to each other, okay? Kathy, I think don't tell me. I'm trying to think. There's a lady I talked to. Kathy, my brain is frozen. My brain is frozen. It will come back to me, but don't tell me. Kathy, you're welcome. I know you, okay? I know you. Unless perhaps you're a different person, then I'm completely wrong. But I know you, okay? Just ignore me. My brain is just gone fuzzy. Let's go on and make this... What is wrong with me? We're making a blondie. We're making a blondie. Okay, let's go on and make this blondie. We're going to start with... oh, Lord. It's a mess in here. Okay, that said, this is... Well, some blondies start with the cakey method where they cream everything together. We are not doing that today at all. Chantilly. Kathy. Chantilly P. How are you, my dear? I was like, I know you. I know you. I know you. Right. That said, what I am going to do, we have the white chocolate, and what I am going to do first of all is get some butter in here. And for your blondie, for the best flavor and mouthfeel, please do not scrimp on butter. Just go for butter. Yeah, butter will do you. I actually just wanted to splurge on getting some French butter, like some French goat is it goat's butter or something, because the French do actually make some good butter, you know. Right. And a tip to melting your white chocolate, do yourself a favor. Keep an eye on it. Melt it at short bursts. If you leave it in there for a minute, it will burn, okay? So start at seconds intervals and keep an eye on it. That is probably going to be the most sensitive part of doing the blondie, but otherwise everything is fairly easy and easy to do. So let's go keep an eye on that. Nothing is happening here, nothing at all. And another tip, the consistency of your white chocolate when you get it all mixed up, you should really be careful. You should really be careful because managing the temperatures of, say, the butter and white chocolate will be important for the outcome of your blondie. So there's a bit of sort of tempering going on, and I'll explain that in a moment for you. Okay, there we are. What I have done is, because the butter is already broken by browning it, it will warm out and melt very easily. So what I'm trying to achieve here is sort of get a head start with the white chocolate without getting it too hot, because if we get it really hot, I'm gonna have to leave things to sit a little bit and wait, and I don't want to do that. So there's a bit of time management happening here whilst also trying to get the best results also. Okay, that is let's join the chat and see. One question: white chocolate ganache. You know what, Dolly, my white chocolate ganache thing, I'll tell you, I remember I already have it on the channel in shorts form, and I covered everything I use. I just find that the use of ganache, right, is set in knowing and understanding the technique, and I really don't know how I can do that without actually doing it here, if you like. Okay, and even if I did it here, it takes a few different processes. So you know what, I did think that selfishly, now this is me just outing myself, if I were to put anything in, say, an ebook form, it would be white chocolate ganache, how I make it, how I use it, how I color it. But you know what, it's not so much life is gotten busy. The business is moving in different ways, and I realize that some of these things that I want to be able to accomplish as part of the business will probably take longer. So I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll change my mind and show up here, and then we can just get into it. Okay, but otherwise I've already posted that on my short channel, and I talk about exactly everything. And actually, when I spoke to you, I told you what I use and why I use them, right? But otherwise, I just find that people use different recipes for different things, and that's okay. My white chocolate ganache just works for me the way I want it to work. Okay, the bar is sort of different from the chocolate chips though, Tapita, but it also depends on the brand you're using, because the chips are optimized for not melting easily because they are supposed to hold. So unless we're talking about the chocolate chips that are made for melting and not for baking, because the ones that are for baking are completely are made so that they don't melt, they don't break down when you put them in cookies, because they have, is it stabilizers or something like that in there? Anyway, that said, our white chocolate, yeah, they are Dolly, it's one of my old, it's a 6-part short form video. I think actually I should have attached them in your feedback form, so perhaps that is the reason why you haven't seen them. But there is, I think, a 6 or 7 part, and it's from a while ago. We're talking, I think, 18 months ago, if not 2 years already. So and they're in shorts form, so you don't have to sit and binge on them anyway. So if you go to my shorts videos from, like, let's say a year ago, just go down, you'll see how I started out, and I talk you through literally everything and the reasons why I use what I use. Okay, but if you have further questions, you can come back and I'll answer them for you. Oh, Maham, we'll catch up with you again, my lovely. Take care. All right. That said, we have managed to melt our white chocolate here. Okay. We'll leave that to the side now. And then what we are trying to do now is add our sugar, like the brown butter. The smell of it is so nice. I like brown butter and how it smells. It is so nice. Right? What am I looking for? I am looking for I can't find my spatula, people. Anyway, this will still work. So here is the sugar, the soft brown sugar, and we are pouring some vanilla with love. You know what, Tabitha? That might probably be the plan, to use bread flour. I am using plain flour here, but you could as well go for bread flour, because I kind of feel like bread flour, with the amount of gluten and texture that it brings, will lead to a very chewy and doughy blondie. And it's the same for cookies, if you're making a cookie. So yeah, I think, you know what, because this is a first use, if you like, let's come back and look at this again in the future, right? So what I am doing here is I am trying to add the white chocolate here without breaking it, and the corn syrup goes in here, right? There is it 59 mils, right? And I'm stirring that together slowly. Now that you have said the bread flour, I kind of feel like, oh, that would be a good thing. And then the rest goes in here. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do this using a mixer, as in the stand mixer or a hand mixer. But for the quantity here, you can use a hand mixer. So we've managed to get the ingredients mixed here without breaking it. But you want to be careful and keep an eye on it, because depending on how you warm this up, it is likely to break. That is the only downside of it. And people really panic. Yeah, bread flour just brings a chewy texture to it. But so far, we've managed to get our ingredients together without that breaking. So that's a good thing. Next, we're going to add our egg yolks. You know what I should have done? I should have held the egg yolks along. Right. And yeah, the egg yolks have gone in. You also want to make sure that by the time you add your egg yolks, the temperature has settled, so that we don't end up cooking the eggs, because then that will not be great for the outcome of our blondie. Now we have our eggs all gone in here. It seems like it is so easy to do, but making a blondie is more about technique and science. Because if you don't get the ingredients right, it will break, it will look a hot mess, and then you will panic and you'll be like, I ruined it. Okay, so now that the eggs have gone in, we are getting some tension in the stirring. Look at it. It's looking like, okay, so this is the part where I get the hand mixer is the... Look at me. If you can see hand mixer here, tell me that the head of the hand mixer. I can't. Where is it? It's here. Have you ever had your phone in your pocket and then you're going round in your house bothering people and asking, where is my phone? That is me right here. There you go. Okay, so this is the part where I mix this. I'm just trying to lighten it up a little bit. Remember, I said I wanted a little... I wanted it a little bit, just a tad bit cakey with the middle dense. This is what achieves that for me. It's like, keep going. The fact that it hasn't broken is like, oh, I'm happy. Okay, right. So as you can see, I've managed to whip it together, but it doesn't look like anything is happening. You will see the result when it finally goes in the oven and comes back out. That said, to sort of balance the amount of sugar and sweetness, this recipe has quite some salt in it, right? And the salt kind of brings balance to the sweetness and enhances the... Yep. When I tell you, the brown butter, I used salted butter, by the way. I just went for salted butter and then threw in another 10 grams of salt in there. So this is sort of balanced for me, but you can adapt the amount of salt to your own taste preferences. And that said, we are now adding, this is plain flour. Normally, if you've been on this channel long enough, you'll find that I like self-raising flour a lot. This is the one time where I'm like, I'm using plain flour and it's fine. Phillips is asking, what do you mean when you say break? I mean when the emulsion separates. Okay, that is for this mixture, the brownie mixture. There is an occasion where if you warm the butter too hot and you mix in the white chocolate, if you mix in the white chocolate, it will separate, and then you have the oil sitting on the top, and then you have the residue and everything from the chocolate sitting underneath. That's what I mean by break. It means the emulsion has separated, that's all. And depending on where you come from or what you feel like, you can't really overmix this. And if you do overmix it, it's down to, it becomes part of the whole thing where the texture becomes chewy and there's more gluten than you need. But hey, that's okay. Except Dolly would know here. Dolly, then I'm here. Dolly, are you still here? Dolly, do you want to bring the palm nut soup? Because for those of you who don't know, I'm Ghanaian, right? And we have a Ghanaian meal called fufu, and this is how we prepare it. It looks like this, and then you stir it till it becomes hard. Okay, so just doing this kind of reminds me of that food. Okay, Yeah, Tapita, thanks for answering that for me. Because somebody was asking in the chat, Phillips is asking what I mean by break.
Charger, please.
There you go.
Okay.
Dolly, you should bring me there. Dolly, this is more like a conte than it is fufu because it's brown, isn't it? Dolly, I was supposed to come to your house for Christmas. Don't you think? I invited myself. That said, people, we are done here. We don't want to overmix this and we don't want to overbeat the batter. Okay, now we've got the tray. So, first things first, let's get just enough in there. I haven't measured this. I'm just eyeballing this because whatever happens, we won't overfill this. And it's not like it's, yep. Ooh, okay. Right, you want to make sure that you can flatten this on the surface as well, right? Okay. So that's a brownie done. And what we're going to do here is add there is really no technique to the mince pie except just dump it and kind of I'm using a fork just to kind of mix it in. The good thing is that these trays have helped me a lot in that I don't have to worry. If I was using a tin, I don't know if I'll feel different about it. Oh, and by the way, whilst we're doing this, since it's mince pie blondie, let's give a special mention to Norman. I think Norman was having a chat with me in the on one of the shorts. Turns out Norman's mom used to make these for Norman when he was younger. Unfortunately, his mom has passed away, but when I posted the photo on the community post, Norman really did appreciate that because he said it brought him back those memories. So Norman, I did say I was going to come back and see if I can create this video on a live so that I can show you the recipe. So Norman, if you happen to chance back on the live, here you are, my dear. I hope you can go and try this if you bake, and then you can get to eat it, and hopefully it brings you some precious and savored memories of your mom. Okay, that aside, all I'm doing is turning this in a way where it's evenly mixed, so you can have a mince pie everywhere. But the thing with mince pie is that they are very unique in terms of the flavor. You know what? Why am I even suffering? Add the rest of the mince pies now, sis. Why am I suffering? Because I think I crushed about 6 mince pies, but I can add the rest. It depends. You know what? The filling is all dependent on one's own preferences, so I'm just adding the rest. I'm not trying to skimp on the mince pies at all, because I want to bite into this where I know there's a taste of Christmas sweetness in my mouth in a way that is so different. So we have filled, so it's like you're eating a mince pie but in a different way, if you like. So if you don't like mince pies, this may not be your thing. And by the way, if you don't like bakers using their hands, look away now, okay? Because I am using my hands and that is just fine. Okay, there we have it. So that's the brownie. Also, so I said brownie, blondie. Now let me wash my hands and get the other one done, and then we can put this in there. Okay, that is one done. One done, and then the next one is more like it's a plain one. Look, the chocolate has settled, and I'm kind of even struggling to scrape this out. So let's spread the blondie out. Okay, so for the quantity that we made, we can make exactly 2 trays, which is lovely. I think, yep, there you have it. That's all done. So let's just make sure it's all even on top, and then I can go back in. Okay, now what we want is the white chocolate. I'm just spreading the white chocolate across. This is about 250 grams, and these are not chocolate chips. This is chocolate bars that I have cut into pieces, because I want some texture to it as well. Because what do you call it? What was I saying? Chocolate chips are too small, they get lost. And even though, 1 second, so this is jam, okay? Nothing special here. This is just regular jam, but you can make your own raspberry whatever and use that, but I'm just using jam. And what I'm going to do is get a fork and drag this as a swirl through. You can also do this using a barbecue stick, except I didn't just, because for me, again, texture matters. I don't want to bite into it and then there's like too much jam. I just want the jam to spread just enough to flavor the blondie without sitting in the middle, if you like. So yeah, okay, so we have white chocolate and raspberry swirl blondie, and we have the mince pie blondie. One is clearly heavier than the other, isn't it? Look at that. This is amazing, even if I do say so myself. Now let's go bake these things and see how they will come along. But could you see? Kind of feel like, why not? Right, these trays are very flimsy, so I daredn't put that in the oven by themselves. So what we've got here is this. And it's gone in the oven. So it's exactly 6 minutes past 3. Let's give it 40 minutes. And then we will check on them. But what are we going to be doing for 40 minutes? Any ideas? Cooking jollof rice. We're going to be cooking jollof rice for the next 40 minutes. Are we? By the way, let's clear our worktop and onto the subject of Christmas. How is Christmas planning coming along? How are you all doing for Christmas? Like, I want to hear the Christmas stories. Lady lately, Dolly, Tabitha, I know you said the family were stuffed from all the birthday celebrations, but your part of your first holiday thing is over. So what are you doing for Christmas? What are some Christmas traditions you guys have that you'll be observing? Me, I am just looking forward to 24th, when I will go get my takeaway, because on the morning of 24th is when my last cake goes out. I normally don't undertake bakes the week of Christmas, but there's this particular customer that I actually love, and yeah, I make cakes for her family, so they are the last ones that I'm making cakes for, and then I'm done. But it's set for collection by late afternoon on 24th, and then I will be going straight to get my takeaway. I'll be in my pajamas over the evening till the morning. When I wake up, have a lie in, wake up, eat late. But on this occasion, I'm kind of toying with the idea. Should I come on a live? I don't know. What I don't want to do though, look, my nose is flashing. No, Tabitha, I didn't put water in the oven this time. The reason is I want it to crust. Remember, the reason why we put water in the oven is so that we can have a tender bake that cooks slow over time. I actually want the outside of this to crust and dry. So no, I didn't put some water in it at all. Not on this occasion. But you know what? Maybe we should try that and see what the results are. Except when I have baked with the water in the oven, I know the exact difference between when water is in the oven and when water isn't. The crust of the cake makes a whole difference. So I don't want to do that. I just want it to be dry. Dolly, you are trolling me at this point. I am so mad at you. I'm going to block you. No, I'm kidding. Dolly is out here. What she is making for Christmas is, Dolly, you love cooking, honey. Okay, look what she's doing. She's making kenke and fried fish. Now, if you're not Ghanaian, perhaps you don't know what kenke is. Kenke is fermented cornmeal that is rolled into balls and it's cooked down. It's an acquired thing, okay? But we Ghanaians love it with hot pepper. Why am I educating you on Ghanaian food? Hot pepper and fried crispy fish, okay? Nicely fried, nicely spiced fried fish, okay? And then she's doing shrimps. She's making turkey tail, turkey wings with hot pepper. And yeah, she said shito. If you don't know, shito is like, it's a hot pepper sauce which doubles as a condiment, if you like. Dolly, I'm coming to your house, okay? Actually, no. Coming to your house takes the effort. So, Dolly, can you please post me this food, okay? If you post me the food, I might change my mind and I might book you in for a tutorial for the ganache, okay? I'm joking, honey. Ignore me. Okay? But yeah, that's a lot of cooking, darling. Isn't it? You know what? I love to cook, but I don't really care to cook on Christmas. I won't lie. I don't care. I don't want to. I don't. Last year was different. Last year, we'd lost a family member. So last year was really intense, and their birthday actually falls around the season. So yeah, that was intense. Thankfully, we didn't have to do, because last year it was like the first Christmas without this person, and it was just like, oh, life just throws a lot of lessons your way. The good thing is that the church family had their Christmas party on the 25th. So it was just a good excuse for all of us to drag ourselves over to the church party and forget about bothering with cooking. And even though I say I don't care to cook on Christmas, it's not so much I don't care to do anything, including getting out of the house. So I have to really make an effort to get out of the house. And on this occasion, it was really appropriate. I had to. So I got dressed last year and we ended up going to the church do. And that was so lovely. This year, I'm like, oh, I'm hiding. I just want to eat my takeaway and just go to sleep. Okay? That's all. That said, oh, Tapita is telling us about her Christmas traditions. She her family and her on Christmas Eve plans are they spend the day together as a family, eating finger foods. Christmas Day they open presents and have Christmas dinner. Tapita, are you doing the cooking? For the rest of you in the chat, yeah, we are interested to hear your Christmas plans. My dear, Dolly, you know what? I like an easy life. Like, I wouldn't say I'll go as far as buy a takeaway and present it as home cooked, because that's like cheating. I love to cook. No lie about that. But when I'm cooking and hosting, it's too much for me. Too much. So where necessary, I will invite, like, I will find a way to cheat, okay? Please. It's not called cheating, it's called time management, people. Les Ganja. Leslie. Ganja kiss Leslie. Leslie, I can't take you seriously with your ganja name, okay? Because ganja. Les, welcome back. I'm sure you've been on the stream before. How are you today? I'm always making you laugh, aren't I? I'm sure I've seen your name is so unique that I'm sure I've seen you in the chat before. But it's been more than 2 weeks since I was last here properly, so who knows? Well, I've been back a couple of last video for me. But anyway, we are baking some blondies, which are in the oven right now, and we are talking Christmas traditions, what you guys do for Christmas and all that stuff. So we are hearing of those who love to cook, those who are inviting friends over, those who have family that they will be hanging out with. Happy holidays, Ganja. You know what? The word ganja, is it what I think it is? That leafy thing. Okay. Okay. We have to find a way. Anyway, we have a mince pie here. You know me. Any chance to eat. So, Les, you are not even hiding. I did tell you that I take the mince out. That said, we're talking food and traditions. Let's talk Christmas presents. What's your take on it? Do you fancy Christmas for all the expense that it has come to be? Or there are things that you value and things you'd be like, let's be done with this already. I didn't bake this, Les. They are used for the blondies, and what's left is what I'm eating. So we're talking Christmas and spending. So let's talk the presents. Are you one for expensive gifts, sentimental gifts? Would you do without the gift at all? What's your take? I'll go first. In the meantime, let me make myself a cup of tea. Clearly, I wasn't listening when my mama told me, don't eat with your mouth full. Don't talk with your mouth full. I want a cup of tea. Right. The conversation about, don't worry, it's my kettle, it's boiling. I don't know. Because I don't have my apron, I feel partly naked. I don't know. Ignore me when I'm doing that. It's because I keep having to. That's said. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Dolly. So Leslie is Puerto Rican, and they have a luncheon with a selection of food items. And for gifts, Leslie, what's your product? That's weird. I don't want to make an assumption. I'm going she, but I may be wrong. So he or she, I'm sorry. I haven't had time to look at your profile. I am so sorry. So yeah. So Leslie is Puerto Rican. So there is a luncheon, a selection of food items, and they like to be thoughtful. So prices don't really matter. Tabitha refuses, and the key word is she refuses to get into debt in the name of buying gifts. So she will consider what she knows people need and will use, and not expensive items. So here's a question for you. Are you very keen on budget? Do you discuss the budget? Because some families, I will tell you about mine in a moment. So what's the deal? Because then you think, obviously, if you're buying for your children, you know your children. But if you're buying for other people, first of all, who do you think of when you're buying Christmas presents? Who? Like, is it the people in your immediate family? Is it people outside of that? Who do you buy the presents for? That said, Dolly did say something sentimental. Dolly, if you'd come back here telling me about how you want expensive presents, I will send you back to Ghana on a one-way flight. Because you and I know, growing up in Ghana, this thing about buying presents for Christmas was not a thing at all growing up. Dolly, because I'll tell you what I feel about Christmas, especially here in a Western environment. This whole idea of spending money on gifts specifically for people is new to me. Obviously, I have had to adapt, and I'm not mad about it, especially if I'm receiving the presents. Hello. No, I am kidding. But that said, it's very new to me because growing up in Ghana, Christmas it's more religion centered. So it was more Christian centered. You go to church. If you were a Catholic, you would go to mass and all of that. So it's centered in like some sort of religious rituals. And if you were, say, a Protestant or Pentecostal or whatever, there is more so the Pentecostals, because I grew up a Pentecostal. You go to a convention. The convention is scheduled within the Christmas period. So you have maybe up to 2 weeks of everyday events that is scheduled within the Christmas season, and the finale is the 31st, where you all go to church service and have a nice celebration. So outside of the church activities, it was also family centered, where the main attraction in terms of gifts is replaced with food, your special food. Growing up, eating rice and chicken is a luxury, honey. If you can relate, let me know. Dolly, if I'm telling lies, come here, come and tell us, okay? Dolly, if you can relate to this, tell me. And if I'm telling lies, come and check this, okay? Because growing up, like, I don't know, I don't speak for every Ghanaian, by the way, but I'm speaking of my experience. First of all, money was hard to come by. Mom and dad weren't so rich to be buying presents for 5 kids. Like, what for? Girl, you have a roof over your head, clothes on your back, a mom and dad that loves you. You better make some grades in school and come back. That is actually the incentive for you getting anything for Christmas. Actually doing well in school. Okay. This business of wanting present. Like, what? You get a nice pair of shoes, as in nice shoes for the Christmas celebration because you're going to this special convention and church service, sort of. And if mom and dad can really afford, they sew you a set of new clothes for the Christmas. So the present is set in something practical that you need, which is clothes and shoes. And the clothes is not like, we're not talking a selection of clothes on the rack and all of that. No. Mom and dad buy a fabric and then they take it to the sort of thing that is custom over here. We used to do it on a day, sort of on a regular basis. In fact, you can't even afford to buy pre-made clothes, so we used to custom make them. So say if mom and dad bought, let's just for sake of representation, sort of bringing it visually to you, say a 12-meter cloth, like, and we're talking a big piece of cloth. There were 5 of us, so each one of you maybe gets about 2 meters each, and the 2 meter each, you take it to the seamstress or tailor, who then custom makes it into a nice dress for you. And actually telling this story, I wish I was telling this story on a pre-produced format, so that I could put some some of my Christmas clothes for you to see, you know, over the years. Look at you. Look at Dolly out here, because Dolly knows what I'm talking about. This nonsense over here of buying present. Like, wait, what? Go away. I literally just went to Ghana in a moment. I literally, like, my brain literally switched and went to Ghana. That go away. Oh God. Let's see what Tapeta is saying. Okay. So when I asked the question, who do you buy for? Who do you buy presents for? Tapita says this year she bought a present for people she lives with, plus a friend. Last year she purchased gift for her in-laws. That's very thoughtful of you. Well, Dolly misses Ghana, because I'm talking all about Ghana and how, like, maybe, I don't know, if I said I have to shoot this video and edit it, it will probably come after Christmas. But who knows? Maybe I can sit down and tell you the story of how I used to celebrate Christmas in Ghana, and you will see. I'll have to get my sister to send me some of the family photos, and then we'll see. And then you'll see me in my Christmas like attire. It's wild, okay? It's so wild. Oh dear, I was lucky that I was in a... Oh, okay, Dolly. Well done. Dolly was the only girl in her family, so she was so spoiled. Good for you. Well, check me out. We were 5 girls, okay? 5. Can you imagine? The competition for attention was a lot. So no, none of that. So anyway, much of Christmas activity was set in religious activities and family tradition. And the family tradition, besides getting a nice custom-made dress for me as a girl, and probably the equivalent for a boy, you'll get a nice pair of shoes. But even so, there's a whole conversation about the type of shoe, whether you're getting hand-me-downs that is bought, or you're getting a brand new boxed up shoe. That's a whole conversation. I don't want to spill the family beans, but girl, I have suffered, okay? But you know what? It is the privilege of adversity. Like, because mom and dad didn't have, the blessing is that I knew no different. All of us knew no different. There were struggles, of course, but we never equated the love of our parents to anything they could afford us. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, it's still a memorable thing for me, like Christmas. I love how the radio stations would switch their jingles, obviously, to Christmas tunes. And one of the songs that still brings me to tears now when I think, because it just takes me back to a moment in time, which is Hark the Herald the Angels Sing. Hark the Herald the Angels Sing, glory to the newborn. That song, like when I was young in Ghana, it was such a staple in the Christmas season that you would hear it on the radio all the time for any commercial on the radio station. And that song still casts me back to a moment in time when I was somewhere around central Accra in Makola Market with my mom, seeking Christmas like related custom, what do you call it, fabrics and shoes for myself and my sisters and all of that stuff. And then when it comes to the tradition in itself, besides the clothes and the shoes, there was also the Christmas food. And like I said, growing up, chicken, as in the chicken we eat every day here, and rice, as in the kind of rice that is bought in bags, that was a luxury for me growing up. So Christmas is the time where you are gifted bags of rice by the neighbors or church folk, or the gifts that people gave on Christmas were actually very practical things that people needed, and people weren't obligated to, but it was an extension of goodwill and grace to each other. So the neighbors would come with, say, a piece of meat, that is if they have money to buy themselves like a whole goat or chicken. And the chicken, by the way, these are homebred chicken, as in fowls or whatever. It's weird saying a fowl, but homebred chicken or the poultry style chicken. But you kind of, the neighbor would kill them themselves and prep them. So you're getting something that has taken attention, that has taken thought. And then they will probably bring you a piece of that meat. And the piece of that meat, whether it's beef, it's goat, it's chicken, it comes with some rice of some form, whether it's cooked or raw rice. Maybe they would have bought the rice in bulk, as in a sack, and then they bring you a portion which is measured in tins. And so it's just practical things that people need, and sometimes oil. And I think that remains a running theme even in Western environment within the Ghanaian community. Say if you have a widow or someone who's lost a loved one or something of that sort, you can give them money if you thought they needed it, but people are normally obliged to give you things that are so symbolic and practical of your needs, which is that if you're struggling, you shouldn't have to struggle for food, and there should always be food. So those are the gifts that are normally given. Now, in England, the intention of buying presents for random people, that I don't know. But you know what? Like I said, as I've grown and I adapted, there are people in my life that I sincerely appreciate and love. So when Christmas comes, sometimes I do undertake very special bakes that are representative of these people and what I feel about them. So it's not like I would bake, say, my regular vanilla cake just to give it as gifts. No, I actually do sit and think of what I can bring in food form. And by so doing, what I am trying to kind of extend is observe my sort of belief and things that I have loved about the way I grew up, whilst also adapting in the environment. So in the past, I've undertaken really special bakes and wrapped them nicely, and given them out. But it all depends on the season. If I am too busy to do that, then I skip it altogether. And yeah, but otherwise, Christmas itself, on the Christmas day, especially here in Ghana, we would have gone to church, but over here it's like, sit home and eat turkey. And I could eat turkey any other day. Tapita, goodbye. Dolly was saying she remembers her mom makes the hard chicken soup and fufu after church. Our neighbors were bringing us, see, exactly, with the raw rice and chicken. I mean, that's what I grew up on, and that's what I remember so much about Christmas, though. You know, it is such a beautiful memory to savor, but I just, this belief, and it also makes it such that if I have to buy a gift, I don't buy a gift for them. First of all, I can afford a lot. But that said, I am not going to be lazy at just buying a gift. A gift has to mean something. Okay, so that also adds another layer to the giftings of Christmas. But there are people that I genuinely care about all year through, they know, so it makes no difference at all for Christmas, you know. And my Christmas tradition is actually set in experience. So there are people, family members or people, family friends I haven't seen in the year. I make an effort to go see them, or to connect with the people around me in a way that is not the same as every day in the year, if you like. So my Christmas is more set in experience and intention rather than buying present. But that's a lazy way of also saying I cannot afford it. Okay, I have too many people in my life. I cannot. I don't have. Let's go and have a look at our. Ooh. Okay. Let's have a look. Ooh. All right. If I take it out now, we will have problems because it's cooked on the side slightly, but not in the middle. But remember, it's cooking slow, so it might take a little while. It might take a little while.